Nicely done. Taman Turner on the controls. Also co-hosting with me today. This is Big 12 Today. He's Taman Turner. I'm James Westling. Heard exclusively on TuneIn. Watched on Big 12 Studios. Today is my birthday. So that's exciting.
How's it feel? 41. Does it feel any different than 40? And my favorite NBA player of all time is Dirk Nowitzki.
Okay.
And he wore number 41. So it is your Dirk Nowitzki year.
I thought you were about to say me and Dirk share the same birthday because that would be exciting.
No, I think his birthday's in June. I only say that because I remember when the Mavs won the finals, and then like a day or two later, they were celebrating Dirk's birthday. It was like perfect coinciding.
Yeah, so birthdays are weird for me because birthdays are like my personal New Year, where I'm not a big New Year's resolution guy, but it seems every year because my birthday is not too far, after New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, being in February. But it's always like kind of a reflection day, I guess, which I know.
I get it. No, I get it.
It's not about cake. It's about self-scouting, all right?
You're looking back on the years, and then you're looking to the years ahead.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
So that's my reset. I do birthday evaluations. I don't do New Year's resolutions.
So what's your birthday resolution from 41 to 42?
Big evaluation day. Well, I haven't quite got there. It's 7:30 in the morning.
You got time.
Okay?
You got time.
We've got the rest of the day, Taman. But my wife has a lovely day planned of me basically doing nothing. She's going to make me a steak dinner. I'm a huge steak guy.
Okay.
So she's got some fancy steaks.
How do you like it cooked?
Medium.
Okay. I'm the same way. I love medium.
We go right down the middle. We go with a little medium, a little mid.
That's the perfect way to do it.
Mid steak game. All right, so last night in the Big 12, Kansas goes on the road. They beat Oklahoma State by 12. Darren Peterson, 18 minutes, 23 points, 6 threes. The dude is remarkable. Arizona takes care of business at home against BYU. But the big shocker, and we can start with this one, Utah on the road takes down West Virginia. This was in Morgantown, where West Virginia was nearly flawless on the season, had just one home loss, had wins over Kansas, among other upper echelon Big 12 teams. This is a quad 2 loss. So when you look at West Virginia's resume, they are now 2-3 in quad 2. They've got the 4 quad 1 wins, but 2-3 in quad 2. This knocked them to 54 in the NCAA net rankings. KenPom, this put West Virginia at number 60. They're now 16-10 overall, and really the when you look at the stats of this game, the big thing that jumped out to me is like West Virginia just couldn't make any shots from the perimeter. Give Utah a ton of credit. Utah led by as many as 11 in the second half of this game in Morgantown, just stunning that home crowd. But West Virginia goes 5 for 23 from the floor. Utah defended at a really high level, probably their best defensive performance of the season. And I think it says a lot because Utah snapped a 15-game road losing streak under first-year head coach Alex Jensen. This is just a step in the right direction for them. And when you've got a first-year head coach and the resources aren't quite there, you look late in the year and you want to see how your guys are playing for their coach. And Utah checks all those boxes.
Yeah, I mean, this game yesterday, Utah, it never felt like West Virginia was going to win. They came back down the stretch, and if I'm not mistaken I talked about how they turned the ball over on the last possession, that last full possession that they had with 5.6 seconds left to go. But it never felt like West Virginia was going to win. They were not good offensively, and what made it more shocking was that they played this way at home. They usually play very well in Morgantown, and yesterday they didn't. And credit to Utah. I know Alex Jensen said after the game that he was happy that they got the win. He was still a little concerned about their offensive struggles, but Utah, they showed out yesterday and got a big win. And Kelvin Sampson said a couple of weeks ago that Alex Jensen's the guy to turn this program around, and it's going to take a little bit of time. And getting a win like that in Morgantown, kudos to him.
Utah led the majority of this game. Pulling this up real quick to see if they led. Yeah, Utah led wire to wire. Like, West Virginia never had a lead in this game.
Right.
And the rebounding was all Utes. They out-rebounded West Virginia, which is hard to do in Morgantown, 38-28. They opened the second half on an extended run of 15-5. That gave them a 15-point lead. So let's hear from West Virginia coach Ross Hodge after the game, talking about his team's effort or lack thereof at home.
The world, they've been close. They've been in these situations before, and they've just kind of been on the wrong side of them, even as recently as the Cincinnati game. So, I was fully aware of the challenge we had in front of us. And again, they started the game with force and pace and shot making, and we just didn't match that. And I think Coach obviously has a lot of responsibilities, but the biggest one and one of the biggest primary responsibilities as a head coach is to make sure your team is ready to play. And there's just been too many times that we just haven't quite been ready to play. So I'll take the blame for that. We have a small margin for error, and when you continually put yourself in these positions and dig yourself holes, and some of that is the inconsistency that you're playing with, whether it's individually or collectively, to continue to put yourself in these holes. And again, it's to be commended, I guess, that we continuously fight back and give ourselves chances in this game. But when you dig yourself those type of holes, so many things have to go right. And in the games that we've been able to do that, we were able to kind of get over the hump with a big shot. And then tonight we weren't able to do that.
Yeah, West Virginia made only 7 baskets in the first half. They shot 30% from the floor and had just 21 points. Utah led 31-21 at the break. And I look at, Utah does play with a lot of pace that Ross Hodge, the West Virginia coach, alluded to there. But when West Virginia is not making shots, it is very problematic. And that is kind of their Achilles heel. They can still play really good defensively, but these scoring droughts or these off nights is problematic. Trayson Eaglestaff, who's been really hot or cold, goes 0 for 6 from 3 last night. Hunter Huff goes 4 for 13 from 3 last night. Took 13 threes in that loss to Utah. And West Virginia as a team shot 21% from 3. They were 5 of 23.
Yeah, and Ross Hodge, he talked about digging their own hole. Utah, in a one-possession game with 6 seconds left, Sado Traore, how you pronounce
it?
Yeah, Traore. He missed both free throws, right? And West Virginia gets a rebound, and then they throw it out of bounds. That's digging your own hole. You cannot do that in a game where you haven't led and you haven't shot well, but you're still given an opportunity. And when you throw the ball away like that, it's actually funny. I was watching that game when it happened. All Ross Hodge did was this. He put his hands up and he just did this. It's like, and then, as I mentioned, he mentioned after the game about digging your own hole. When you shoot bad, you have to take advantage of opportunities when they come about. And that opportunity came about, and West Virginia did not utilize it.
We touched on Kansas. They go on the road. They beat Oklahoma State 81-69. Built a big lead. They were up 37-16. Really, this game was over in the first 10 minutes because Darren Peterson was on fire when he was on the floor. Only played 18 minutes, but he goes 7 for 12, hit 6 threes in this game. I thought the inside play of Bryson Tiller and Flory Badunga once again. The difference for Kansas, they just dominated Oklahoma State on the glass. They out-rebounded the Pokes for the course of the game. And keep in mind, when you out-rebound a team, but they're missing so many shots because Oklahoma State shot just 34% from the floor on the night. I mean, that says a lot about KU's front line. Tiller had nearly a triple-double. He had 10 points. He had 11 rebounds. He had 7 assists. He had a couple of blocks. Badunga had 4 blocks. Those two guys down low had 6 blocks between the two of them, and Kansas hit 11 threes. That formula of Kansas just to me continues to look like a more and more complete basketball team each and every time they take the floor, and they controlled from start to finish in Stillwater.
Yeah, Kansas really showed their might in a game where Darren Peterson didn't really play a lot of minutes, as we noted. You talked about the great game by Bryson Tiller, Floyd Badunga, Trey White, 16 points, played well. Marco Jackson, 14 points. I mean, played well. I mean, Kansas, we know they're a very good team, and Bill Self's done an incredible job, knowing that you don't know if Darren Peterson's going to play the entire game. So, kudos to him. They went into Stillwater, a desperate Oklahoma State team. They're trying to still make the NCAA tournament. But, Kansas, they're a power. And, you can only have so many mistakes against them, even when their best player doesn't play the entire game.
And then finally, late last night in Tucson, Arizona and BYU. This is the second installment of a two-game series. Arizona wins 75-68. Remember, they already won earlier this year back in January in Provo. Arizona looked like Arizona. They out-rebounded BYU by 7 on the glass. A.J. DeBonsa got his. He had 35 points, put on a show, 13 of 28 from the floor. He took 28 shots, and that will be par for the course the rest of the year with Richie Saunders out. I mean, he's going to be attempting 20 or 30 shots per game. Rob Wright had 13 points for BYU, but for Arizona, it was the balance. Karchinkov had 18 points. They got 22 points off the bench from Anthony Del Orso, and they made their threes. They were 9 for 21 from downtown, shot 43% as a club. You're watching the highlights on Big 12 Studios. They had a ton of really clean looks from the outside.
Yeah, Arizona, I'm glad they got this win because obviously they came into this game losing 2 in a row after starting 23-0. And this was the bounce back win that they needed to say, we're going to be fine. They probably knew they were going to be fine, but when you actually play it and you see that you're fine, that does a lot for your confidence. On BYU side, I mean, A.J. DeBonsa was what we expect A.J. DeBonsa to be. He dominated, 35 points, 7 rebounds, 13 for 28 shooting. And as you mentioned, with Richie Saunders being out, we're probably going to see these big game explosions from A.J. DeBonsa. Nothing against BYU. It was a tough, tall task. They lost a close one earlier this year. I think it was 86-83 in Provo. But, going to Tucson and playing Arizona, it was going to be a tall task without Richie Saunders. But Arizona showed why they have been, they showed yesterday why they started the season 23-0.
The depth, man. Anthony Del Orso, he was the difference. He had a career-high 22 points. This was a one-point game with about a minute to go before the half, and then Anthony Del Orso hit a top-of-the-key 3 at the buzzer to give Arizona a 7-point halftime lead. They extended their lead to as many as 16 in the second half with another Del Orso 3 with about 6.5 minutes to go to pull away and hang on against BYU. All right, coming up next here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, we are brought to you, The Full-Time Fan, by Modelo, heard exclusively on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. We head out to Lubbock. Chris Level joins us from the Texas Tech Radio Network, the latest on JT Toppin, and where does Texas Tech go from here? That's coming up next here on Big 12 Radio, exclusively on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios.